Hey Writers, Keith Wheeler here, back with another video for you. Today's video is one that's been requested a lot. When you're self-publishing books, you're always looking for alternate ways to find Amazon keywords. While as you know, I am a huge fan of Publisher Rocket, it was recently brought to my attention that Helium 10 now has features to help when publishing on Amazon. So today I have Shavali from Helium 10 giving us a demonstration to determine, is Helium 10 for KDP worth it? Take it away, Shavali.
All right, so we're taking a look at Amazon currently, and I am inside of the Kindle store, kind of filtered down into one of the subcategories. So here we're kind of inside of business and money, inside of industries, customer relations. Now, I just kind of navigated to this on free will. It was just a free randomized spin of niches. But what I've pulled up has about, a little over 5,000 results. So this is very different from a lot of the other niches you see. You have, sometimes you have thousands, sometimes you only have 1,000, just kind of varies. But it's always interesting to me to kind of play around with the different niches there are, because sometimes you'll scroll down and even in the bestsellers section, you'll find some of these books that don't have as many reviews, right? And that is one of those things that, as somebody who wants to get published, right? If you're just coming out onto the market, you might be looking for books that are doing really well, but don't have that many reviews, because as a new publisher, you would have 0 reviews, correct?
Right.
So when you end up going into some of these books, right? Let me open up this one. You'll see that even though there's 28 ratings, right? Maybe not enough to necessarily compete with some of these that have thousands of reviews. Let's take a look at the listing to see exactly what they're doing here. So Andy Paul, I don't know who Andy Paul is. I'm not sure if he's somebody who's well-known. Keith, what about you? Do you know who Andy Paul is?
I do not know.
All right. So we don't know who Andy Paul is, but what we can see that he's doing is he has a great description here. So he has some bold text, but he also has some regular information about what this book might be about. And the title itself is not exactly the shortest title, right? Sell Without Selling Out, A Guide to Success on Your Own Terms. Let's go down a little bit further. We also have these editorial reviews, and then, of course, our ratings down below. So one of those things about building out a Kindle listing is you want to really optimize the space, right? In any listing, no matter what you're selling on Amazon, whether it's a standardized product, it's Kindle, or it's a book that maybe you hardcovered yourself, and then you're selling via FBA or FBM, you want to make use of this space that's given to you. So this is a great example of somebody that's doing just that. They have some, information about what their book is about, but also words that might possibly be keywords people are searching up. Now, keywords are incredibly important to just pinpointing that customer demand and making your sales, right? Because that's where all the traffic comes from. That's how you get your converting listing, because when people are looking for something that are, about these pillars, maybe they're looking for something that has to do with connection and curiosity and understanding, and they read that, they are more likely to be converted as a sale for you. So let's take a look at one of these books. So we have, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Now this book, the only reason I have it pulled up is because it has thousands of reviews, right? So the reason I wanted to pull up a listing that has thousands of reviews is to show you one of our tools that you can use to figure out what your customer is thinking before you even write the book. So while some people walk into a Kindle market and they say, I know exactly what I want to write about, you also have your people who just want to make some green, right? They just want to make some money. And that's where, let's say you found a niche like the one we were looking at where, there's not that many results, or you have a book maybe that doesn't have as many reviews, but you feel like you can write a better book. Or even you have a place like this, right, where you have only a little over 1,000 results. Yes, the first book has thousands in reviews, but some of these other ones don't have anything at all. And this is where you can go in and write a similar book, capitalize on all this information that this book is giving you, and then build an amazing book yourself. So let's take a look at the Chrome extension by Helium 10. Now, before I even, show you review insights, let me tell you how to get this extension, which is helium10.com/extension. So pretty simple, helium10.com/extension. Mine says remove from Chrome. Yours would say add to Chrome. And once you do, you would be able to click that little icon and then navigate to Review Insights. So what Review Insights does is it lets you filter all those thousands of reviews, which is pretty cool because this can be a great way for you to structure a book you know nothing about. Right? So
Right.
Keith, have you ever had like a book maybe you've ghostwritten, or you know somebody that's ghostwritten a book and they're not the expert on the book, but they can always outsource?
Yes, yes. A lot of people call it writing to market.
Yeah, yeah. So this is an amazing way for you to figure out what chapters do you want to build? What information do you want to present? What is going to be the most invaluable to the people that are going to be reading your book or that you want to market your book to? So what I'm doing right now is I've opened up Review Insights, but what it's asking me to do is fill out some filters first. So you would be able to input a range of dates. I'm just kind of picking at random here. So I have March 1st, 2020 to February 23rd, 2022. You can also select if you only want verified or helpful reviews or images and videos. And then you can select if you only want 1 or 2 stars, if you want all of them, if you just want the positive ones. And this is a great way for you to figure out, okay, what was this book maybe lacking? Or what can I do better about this book? And then when you click extract reviews, and again, you can also input a keyword if you'd like, you can see exactly the most helpful reviews to you. So lots of repetitive statements, lots of words, but no depth. And then you can read maybe further in depth about why this person thinks that. Outrageous claims, but unconvincing. For example, the story. All right, I'm not going to read into all of this here, but you get the idea here, right? You have the section about helpful reviews where you can really gauge out of the filters that you put in, how many reviews were provided within the parameters that you decided, but also what was the most beneficial. You can see your review distribution as well as some of those top phrases. So, this right here is a little bit vague, but if you go to review analysis, you can sometimes find some really incredibly helpful stuff. So here we're having a lot of, will change you think, but you can always click down and see where those popular words were really highlighted and which reviews you can pull from. So this is one way for you to figure out what do you want your book to be about, but also what do you want to put into your description section? So what are people talking about the most? As well as just maybe you want to pull that information for your cover. So here, we had a lot of people talking about the subconscious mind. Of course, that seems very obvious, right? Here, the book is titled The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. But maybe if we had put in a wider range of dates, maybe with subconscious mind, we would have found something like the psychology of money, right? Or something that's completely different. And then you can use that information to build an amazing cover image that will really speak to that part of your consumers. So Review Insights is just one way for you to get inside of your prospective buyer's mind before you write your book, or even when you're just building out your listing. Outside of that, we also have Cerebro. So Cerebro and Magnet inside of our Helium 10 account are underneath our keyword research section. So these two tools can help you kind of figure out what are your competitors doing or how are they ranking their books. So usually in the real world, right, we want to model success, or we try to duplicate things that really work. And that is kind of how we just go about things. So this here is kind of the same idea. Let's take this book right here, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, and go down to the ASIN. So if we take the ASIN and we go over to Cerebro, we can paste that in and then click Get Keywords. As you can see, I have looked this up right before this call to make sure that there was some relevant information here. But we have an insane amount of filtered keywords, right? This book is clearly showing up for a lot of stuff. Now, it's not always this many keywords. I mean, this had thousands of reviews. So I believe that this book has been up for quite some time. I mean, we can check it right here, publication. Wow. It's kind of newer. All right. So let's take a look at exactly what are they doing? What are they ranking for? How many times are different keywords being searched for? I mean, think about it. If you don't have a tool like this, right, where are you really pulling your keywords from? I mean, thin air, I feel like. Are there, Keith, where do these keywords usually come from? I mean, I know you use a different software sometimes and you're just kind of expanding into the space, but like, where do people normally pull keywords from?
You know, if you're going to do it the old fashioned way, then what you're going to do is you're going to go into incognito mode. You're going to go into Amazon and you're just going to start typing and see what pops up. And it definitely is helpful, but it is super time consuming.
It is really time consuming. And that's where a software like this can really save you that time, money, and effort. Because even if you're doing the manual way, right, there's no way to know exactly what the search volume is, or how that search volume is really changing month by month, or even how many competing products there are in comparison to that search volume. So we can have, over 1,000 results, maybe that's listed up here, but it doesn't really tell us how many times that's being searched for. So
Right.
Not exactly the most helpful way to go about things. But here with Cerebro, you can see what this book is ranking for. So up here, we have the organic rank, which tells us where exactly is this book located for these keywords. So there's quite a few keywords that they're ranked 1 for, quite a few for 2. And then we have some filters up here that you can then use to narrow down what you're looking for. So maybe you only want to take a look at where's this book ranking 1 to 10, because typically we want to rank higher, right, on our keywords, because that's just naturally more traffic. Most people don't really make it past page 1 or 2. I mean, I don't know. Keith, do you?
It depends on the niche, but yeah,
Depends on the niche.
Majority of the time, no.
Exactly. So, you can put in organic rank if you want. You can put in search volume or competing products. You can also filter by column. So if you just clicked search volume, it would filter it by search volume. And then we also have some keyword distribution. So what books are showing up the most in relation to this book. But if you click apply filters, we go down from, the 5 or 6 digits of keywords that we had to 1,528. Still not the most small amount of keywords to filter through, but you can, again, put in more keywords here, or more filters rather, to narrow down those keywords and find some that are really relevant. Now here, we are taking a look at a lot of vague ones as well. So Kindle Store military history might not be the most relevant, right? It's not the highest correlation that you would think of off the top of your mind for the power of your subconscious mind, but could be relevant. You could always open it up and see what's showing up. Now, I don't believe this is necessarily the best keyword to incorporate into the product description section of our book. So I could just click the little trash icon and it would take it right out. But this is how you can kind of look at this information and narrow down your keywords to some keywords that you really want to have in your listing when you build out your own book. So again, guys, remember that the purpose of this is not just to take a look and see what is working for your competitors, but also what can possibly work for you once you build out your book and you're getting it up and listed on Kindle. Moving on, let's say you have found a good amount of keywords, right? You would then be able to click the little checkbox icon right up here, and it would select all of the words that are on that first page. Now, there are several pages over because we have thousands of keywords, but again, you would want to use these filters to kind of narrow it down. And then once you do, you would be able to click add keywords to my list. Again, these are not the most relevant right now. I mean, I'm sure we have some autobiographies free and New York Times bestseller. I mean, there are so many different New York Times bestsellers. It's up to you if you want to keep that in your keywords, but you can create a new folder. Let's say we create a folder called Kindle, we save it, and then we can go back through and add it to our Kindle folder. So they'll save everything that's on that first page. And ideally, you would want to get it narrowed down to just 1 page. Once you have that, you can actually go into our listing optimization section and go to Frankenstein. So Frankenstein is where you can kind of take all of these separate parts to essentially help you remove all the duplicates and the common words so you can build this monster of a listing. Let me actually go into our keywords folders first so we can directly import it. And let's find that folder that we were looking at. So see, we have 49 keywords here, which is how many we added. And from this, you can go through and you can take a look at those words again. You can always highlight after the fact if you see that search volume has changed. Or you see, maybe you open up a search volume graph and you see that you don't like how it's progressing. you can always click and delete at any point. But let's say we want to move forward and we like what we're seeing. We want to move it over to our listing. You would click this little icon right here and click Frankenstein to again take parts and build out this massive listing. You can click remove common words, maintain phrases, and then maybe one word or phrase per line. So that way here, you have all the common words removed, the duplicates removed, and then you can sort it by frequency to see what is being searched for the most. Because again, when you have limited space in your listing, you want to be using words that are very highly relevant, but also very likely to be searched with low enough competition for you to compete coming onto that marketplace with absolutely no reviews, right? When you go down, you can click scribbles. Once you have that filtered by frequency and you have all of the good stuff, the bad stuff removed, right? The common words or duplicate stuff you don't want. And then you'd be able to click apply in Scribbles. So that way it sorts it by the words by frequency and then the phrases by search volume. So I will say Scribbles, this page that you are looking at right now is in the process of being substituted by Listing Builder. So let's take a look at Listing Builder instead of Scribbles. When you go over to Listing Builder, it's sort of the same idea, but you would be able to click add a new listing, and then you would be able to click create from scratch. So get started, and you can input in an ASIN if you'd like, if you want to build upon somebody else's listing or your own listing, but I'm just going to click go ahead, and this right here, what we're looking at is those lists, that keyword folder we had originally. This is another way you can just kind of pull from that. So here we have that little Kindle section. So let's click add to bank, and it automatically populates. Now, the great thing about this listing builder is not only can you pull from those folders, but let's say you did do, Keith, exactly what we were talking about earlier, that manual search. You can go in and still input in additional keywords if you would like. So you can just type in, maybe you are interested in, the psychology of money. That's where I pulled from earlier, right? The psychology of money. But you can also have, maybe you just want to test subconscious mind or spiritual health. It's just, I spelled that wrong. There we go. Add to bank. All right, so it went from 49 keywords to 51 because we added those two. You can also get keyword suggestions. So you can enter in some of your competitor ASINs and it'll give you a list of keywords you can pull from, which is pretty cool. When you click next, it will take you to a similar page, but the difference is at the bottom, there's a listing analysis score. So it will tell you how much search volume will be generated based off of what you are typing in, which is amazing. I love this part of Listing Builder. When you type in any sort of description, now I believe the Kindle description is 4,000 characters, right? Yes. Okay. So here you would want to switch out the 200 bytes to, bytes are different. So you can put in 4,000 and then you could start typing in information, but every time that you use one of the words or the phrases, it will get crossed out, as well as tell you the amount of times you've used it. So let's say that since I know that on the back end of Kindle, we have the 4,000 characters, we also have the title, right? And then we have our 7 search keywords that we can put in. So here, obviously, this right here, this that we're looking at is more so for FBA, but you can still use the same thing for Kindle. It's just not going to be exactly bullet points per se, right? So let's maybe go down to description. You can put in the 4,000 right here. It doesn't matter. Like I said, the above one, the bytes can also be changed to 4,000 there too. You can start typing in anything. So I'm just going to put in some words here just so you can see them get crossed off. And as you can see for words, it says subconscious crossed 1. So if I put it in several times, maybe I did want to make it one of my 7 words, but I also wanted to make it part of my description, you'd be able to do that and you would see 2 right here. Going down, we also have phrases. So it's so important, the psychology of money and there it gets crossed off for phrases.
And so I can, like right now you're typing it, but if I already have my description, I can just copy and paste my description in there as well, correct?
Yes, you absolutely can. Good. You absolutely can. Yeah. So once you do that, you would be able to see how that generated search volume is happening. Now here, this specifically is made for an FBA listing. So not all of these will be completely correspondent with your Kindle listing, like for example, the 5+ bullet points, it's not exactly going to happen because obviously we only have the 7 search words as well as the description, but this is more so you can still see your generated search volume and you can still see all of your information, your highly relevant keywords and phrases that you find through Cerebro or Magnet, which Magnet is very similar to Cerebro, but Cerebro, you input an ebook's ASIN or even a regular paperback or hardcovers ASIN, and you can get a bunch of keywords that your competitors are using. You can do the same thing for your own listing with Cerebro. Magnet, you put in a keyword to get more keywords. So one is for ASINs for keywords and one is for keyword. But you would be able to use both of those to get all of these great words and phrases that have great search volume and then put them into this area so you can build out an amazing listing that makes sense. And hopefully you have pulled from some of those review insights before and you have an amazing listing that's not only being searched for, but also makes sense to the consumer and speaks to the customers, what they're looking for in their mind.
No, that's great because one thing I've noticed over the years is that a lot of times authors will in their description in the keywords, they'll use their own words, and that's great. But using your customers' words is a better way to speak to them because it's like you're reading their mind. So that's absolutely a great tool.
Exactly. Now, after all of this is done, let's say that you wanted to check out if your keywords are actually working. You would be able to go over to Keyword Tracker, and that's under our analytics tab. But you can input in any product. So if I click add new product, you would be able to put in the Amazon product URL or the ASIN, type in the keywords you want to track. So maybe you can go over to your list that you had before, right, in Frankenstein, or even from that folder that you saved everything into, and just paste it here. And when you click start tracking, it sometimes takes up to an hour to load. So I literally just loaded this, but it's telling me right here that it's not in the top 306. But this is a great way for you to also quickly see if your information is actually being put to use. So if you're inputting in your words, are you showing up on the first page? And you can keep an eye on your ranking and kind of tweak it based off of what you see. So this is just one way for you to kind of monitor how are you doing ranking wise, where is your product showing up, your ebook showing up for the keywords that you want to rank for. So that is really kind of an intro of how to use the Helium 10 tools for Kindle. And again, this is still a space that we are expanding into, but we're very excited about what we can use these tools for when it does come to publishing books on Kindle.
Yeah, I'm super excited because like we talked about before the call is I've got a lot of friends that use Amazon FBA and they just swear by Helium 10. But I didn't know until recently that you can actually use it for KDP because it's an area that you guys are just now jumping into. So
yeah,
I mean, just seeing what you already have is gives so many great ideas and like you alluded to, yes, there I do use Publisher Rocket, but there are things that you've shown that don't exist there, and so I definitely can see and knowing some of the things that you can do with Helium 10 for FBA. And I could just see how you would grow KDP to use it with KDP. Yeah, super exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah. So for those people who are watching, if you want to grab a hold of your copy of Helium 10, you can head on over to kwheelerbooks.com/Helium10, and there'll be an option for either 50% off your first month or an ongoing 10% off for every month that you have it from now until forever. And that's a long time. So I just want to thank you again so much for coming on. And I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Keith. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
I want to give a huge thank you once again to Shavali from Helium 10 for giving us that great demonstration of Helium 10 for KDP. And with 2 awesome discounts to choose from, my question to you is which are you going to pick up? 50% off your first month or an ongoing 10% off every single month for as long as you have the software? Let me know down in the comments. Now, one thing that many people don't know about me is that I love to give gifts, but not just any gift, something unique and heartfelt. Here's a perfect example. I was on a call with my buddy Dale L. Roberts, and through a simple misunderstanding, next thing you know, I'm buying him 3 unexpected gifts. And number 3 is priceless. Now, if you've already seen that video, YouTube dares you to watch this video right here. I'll catch you in one of these videos, and remember to write right.